Long time ago in ancient India, Radha and Krishna was celebrated Phagwa.
Let us all sing and dance with Rama and Krishna.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago family. Welcome to Yellow is the Core program on UNC USA. I have back with me here our senior technical analyst, Mr. Suman Singh, and our senior engineer here, Mr. Ken Dalshan. Gentlemen, welcome back to the program. So we're picking up from last night where our Prime Minister had a very successful visit to the United States, well received, and we are seeing some drastic progress in our direction. So, Mr. Suman Singh, I'd like to get your input. In reference to we continue discussion on the benefits of our Prime Minister visit to the United States, and how she's well received, and the recognition we are getting and the support we foreseen coming our way in Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead, Mr. Singh.
Well, good night. Good night to all of our viewers and listeners on the feed. This is definitely a very telling moment for Trinidad and Tobago. Not only the photo, I should say the elegant photo on our stately Prime Minister meeting with the President of the US, Donald Trump. Now, Gary, I just saw you run a clip on Holi. And, if you all know a little bit about Holi, it signifies new beginnings. And just as that festival of Holi signifies new beginnings, I think this meeting, the Shield meeting at the Doral, signifies new beginnings for Trinidad and Tobago, and one which I personally am very, very proud and optimistic for Trinidad and Tobago, our economy, our security, our ability to deal with the drug cartels, our ability to strengthen our security apparatus, our ability to hopefully generate more economic activity, our ability to, bring up into fruition the state of our oil refinery to get it into a production mode. And hopefully all that combined will lead to our most pressing problem, which is the availability of foreign exchange to buy our goods and services. So, as I said, this is a new beginning. It commemorates the Holi Festival. And I liken this photo to these new beginnings, which hopefully will, rebound to the peoples of TNT. Yeah, Ken?
Good night, listeners. Samad, I mean, you said it all there. But, we have to come back a little bit to where we started, how we got to this point, right? And the Prime Minister took a calculated risk. He said, hey, there's a conflict with the US and Maduro, right? And we saw all too well, in fact, we experienced what was happening in Venezuela there with the influx of migrants, right? It created a strain for us, but we still welcome all of them. right, to our best of our capabilities and resources, right? And the prime minister said, "Hey, we have a SOFA agreement in place, so we have to honor and respect that agreement." But also, he also mentioned uh, the sovereignty of Guyana, and she said, "Look, Maduro cannot annex almost two-thirds." So, someone correct me if I'm wrong there. Two-thirds of Guyana,
Essequibo,
yeah,
Essequibo region,
right.
Essequibo region.
And she's not going to allow that. We have taken a position to defend Guyana, you know, from the get-go. So it shows strength in leadership there. Now, when we saw that, we say, hey, you know what? We are very, very optimistic moving forward. The outlook is positive, right?
And
One
and
is
if I may chime in here, can just show
Mhm.
a point to be noted. All this was done against a backdrop of CARICOM, putting a lot of pressure on our prime minister.
Absolutely.
Remember, they said it was a zone of peace, that TNT has betrayed the rest of CARICOM. Our prime minister did not sugarcoat anything. She said it as it is. And I think that got a lot of applause and confirmation from the US Secretary of State. That is why that invitation was extended to her. Plus, she supported the intervention of the US in extricating Maduro. So all these things combined against all odds, against our local press and media against her, and also against CARICOM pushing back against her. So you have to understand is like three forces pushing against you, and you alone going forward, and you alone showed the rest of the peoples here that she was right. So
Absolutely so much.
that is
Well said.
commendable.
Yeah.
Commendable on her side.
Point well taken. Point well taken. In an environment where the odds are stacked against you, right?
Yep.
And everyone is saying, hey, they sort of isolated her.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
no one really felt to experience, right, the impact from that Maduro regime, how he treated some of the people there, right? The political prisoners, some were thrown in jail, some had to flee. Some people lived in poverty while others lived like kings because they were in the Maduro regime, right? I mean,
Correct.
the guy, he suffered a lot of people. 8 million people had to flee. We, Trinidad and Tobago, located just next to Venezuela, 7 miles, the closest point, we experienced a lot of migration from Venezuela, right? We never discriminated against anyone. We tried our best to open our arms to facilitate because we understood the fact that these people are just fighting to stay alive, struggling to stay
Hmm.
alive, right?
Yeah.
And they're running away from public prosecution and stuff.
Hmm.
So again, we played our role, our humanitarian role, right? And the prime minister played her role to end that dictatorship, to support the forces that would go in there and extradite Maduro back to the United States. You know,
Another thing, Ken, by doing all these things, by supporting the US, we had a lot of economic benefits redundant to the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago. One, we're able to get a radar in Tobago to help better monitor the skies and the oceans and so on. So that from that security perspective, that was a plus. In addition to that, we got positive tariff treatment, preferential treatment for Trinidad and Tobago products entering the U.S. market. But the biggest one of all, the biggest benefit of all was that our visas were able to stay intact, and that our 350,000 trainees who had access to going to the US, whether it's visas, green card, and permanent residence, and what have you, this remained intact. Unlike most of the Caribbean countries whose visas and so on were taken away or who no longer can travel to the US in the short term. So this was the big positive: is an economic benefit, a social benefit, because there's so many Trinity students study there. So many of us live there. So many of us go to holiday. So many of us go for medical treatment and so on. A lot of businesses in the U.S. as well. So, these are the things that are the social and economic impact of the Honorable Prime Minister making the correct decision. And I keep on saying that this decision was a very calculated one. And I don't want to imagine, had this not been successful, what the press would have done to her. There would have been carnage, utter carnage.
Definitely so much.
So she took the risk. And now the same press, they don't have the guts to come up and say, hey, well, thank you, Prime Minister, you made the right call. They never said that. They
don't want to highlight.
These things mean nothing to them. Apparently, it means nothing to them.
Well, they expose themselves in terms of the bias also in the press, right? By not highlighting that, it shows how biased the press is. A press that's supposed to be free and independent, right? So we can't rely on the press. This is why I tell people, hey, you know what? Go online and go to X and go to other sources and find your news.
Yeah.
Forget about the biased sources. They will become dinosaurs if they still become biased like that, right? Because the world has changed, Sumad. Now people have information in the palm of their hands, and they can see better, more reputable sources of news there. So,
bias. So
we don't want to deal with a press that has to be fact checked, constantly, and is biased. The press should not be biased, and they have demonstrated that throughout the decades, and by trying to choose political parties and trying to push the narratives, right?
Yes.
So, but coming back to the radar, right? The cost of that Sumad was how much again? $3 million a day, US dollars a day.
I can't recall the actual figure, to be honest. I can't.
I believe the newspapers they quote those figures, right? It costs millions per day to have that US radar there, because you need the manpower and stuff to 24/7 and to operate it and stuff like this. Right?
Well, the US is going to recover the cost from the oil in Venezuela, because that is what paying for the whole Southern Command in this initiative. Hello?
Go ahead, I'm listening to you guys. Go ahead.
Okay. I said President Trump has indicated that the proceeds from the oil from Venezuela will have to start paying for this salvo of the U.S. intervention in Venezuela. So at least we'll be covered with that.
Yeah, I'm listening to you guys. I'm just loading some files, so go ahead.
Okay. Ken? Is it dropped off, Gary?
Ken, we're not hearing you. Yeah, Ken dropped out there for a little while. So, I mean, listen to me. We are looking at, as soon as Mrs. Bisesa became Prime Minister, right? I mean, Modi ran down to Trinidad. Just imagine that. One of the most powerful men in the world, with one of the largest democracy, came down to Trinidad to pay homage to our Prime Minister and lend his support in anything we needed.
And Gary, he was kind enough to donate, I think it's $300 million US as a donation.
I'm sorry, I got bumped out there.
Yeah.
So was asking you, go ahead, Ken, I'm listening.
Yeah, so let me hear the question again there, sorry.
Oh, no, Ken was saying that, as soon as the Prime Minister...
The radar, the cost, I believe it was somewhere close to $3 million US, but don't hold me to it. But regardless, the cost to operate that is millions of dollars, whether it's TT or US dollars, right? And we didn't have to put up a cent. What are the benefits? Our safety, our security, right? We're able to intercept drugs.
But
Uh,
Ken, there was a certain segment of the population, both in Trinidad and Tobago, who were against the radar. In fact, that was a hot
Look at the screen.
political topic in the recently concluded THA elections on January 12th. Since
Yeah.
the election in January 12th, I've not heard anything about the radar anymore. Nothing about the radar. That radar issue is dead. But
So, man,
prior to
when you have persons who are just incompetent,
and Gary, sorry, Gary, Ken, if I may add,
But
they
not
were-
incompetent. They are
were-
part and parcel of the
and
problem.
that's what I was
that's
going
my
to
next
It's not
point.
say.
they're just incompetence. They are part
Yes.
and parcel of the problem,
Correct.
They're
gentlemen.
part of the
Correct.
problem also, correct?
Correct, Gary. They were the beneficiary.
Mhm.
They were the beneficiary of payouts, so that their money laundering and the drug cartels and so had free passage. That no longer was in effect. So that cash flow pipeline was disrupted. And that disruption
Absolutely.
caused
Point
that
well
whole
taken.
fiasco of trying to upstage the radar. Why is it we have a radar in Tobago that's going to affect the tourism, soldiers on the ground, this blah, 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 blah. They look at it from that perspective, but they're not looking at it from the other perspective of the safety and the security of T&T nationals will be preserved. So that, but once their cash flow is disrupted, which it has been, because we see this trend among the other Caribbean leaders. They were all part and parcel of this grand scheme of things. Right? So
Absolutely.
all in a
Look at the
Absolutely.
screen. Look at the screen.
yeah, happy, very joyful,
So when the Prime Minister got the first pen there that was used to sign that agreement,
Yes, and she
that
got the
executive
first-
order.
Yes, yes.
That's a
yes.
historic moment there. And
and
again-
you juxtapose this, Ken, where a guy was being paid as a lobbyist in Washington to get Rowley to make a phone call with the President Trump, and he never got it.
yeah,
Over $2 million plus US dollars he was paid just to get a phone call with the President and Rowley, and that never happened. And here is it at no cost, zero cost. Here is it. We can see our Prime Minister next to the President.
right. And
It's
so man,
very-
if you are dancing with the enemy, right? If you dancing with a Congo line with the enemy, and you are spewing anti-American sentiments, why would I want to entertain you?
Well, the notion is
If I'm the US, if I'm Guyana,
Mhm.
right, and you are Maduro, or any one of your friends who are supporting you, we have drawn that line. It shows that you are standing on that on the side of the enemy, of my enemy, right?
Yep.
Now that they have lost the election and they're the opposition now, right? We've taken the country forward, right? 10 years of carnage and neglect. Yes, we have to sort that out. But we have seen a lot of positive. Not 1 year has passed, and we have seen so many positive outcomes and decision making at the highest level. Look at this picture right here. Our Prime Minister standing next to the most powerful man on the planet,
Right.
without a doubt. Right? And she got the pen that signed that agreement.
Yes.
That speaks volume right there.
So
That
that's
speaks a
what-
lot about
that's-
the integrity of our leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and the decision that she have made, the calculated risk.
Right.
You know.
So you see the difference, Ken. This was achieved at no cost, whereas
Correct.
over TT 15 million, 2 million US almost 15 million TT dollars was spent on just trying to get Rowley to speak on the phone with President Trump. And here is it, our Prime Minister was able to achieve that at no cost to the taxpayer.
Again, because of the level of leadership.
Correct. That's the
That
point.
is what has her standing there. The level of leadership that she took. She acted with integrity when she saw a dictator in a Latin American country, wants to annex another country, right, and threaten their sovereignty. He took that initial risk and say, "Hey, I'm drawing a line here. You cannot do that, Venezuela, Maduro. If you interfere with Venezuela, you interfere with all of us."
Yes.
And correct me if I'm right. That's almost what she said. If you interfere with Venezuela, you interfere with all of us. Or touch one,
Yes.
touch all of us. Something to that effect, right?
With into Guyana.
Yeah. And that shows that someone who's acting with integrity there. He's not wishy-washy. Even though there's Dragon Gas deal and stuff and OFAC lights and all this other stuff in the place, she said, "Hey, you know what? No, you can't do that. Right? You cannot go in there and annex that 2/3 of Venezuela. Sorry, Guyana."
And Ken, you know what came out of the meetings? One of the discussion was that Trinidad was selected as the point island, as the leader to take this entire process forward. This, with respect to
I'm seeing something here. 2 minutes ago, U.S. and Ukrainian F-35s bomb Russian. Let me see, bomb Russian what? Bomb Russian oil facilities in the Black Sea.
No.
So now the U.S. has stepped in, according to this,
directly.
It stepped in together with Ukraine, which the United States should have done a long time ago, right?
Yeah, because they did not intervene directly. They had NATO.
Yeah, but it was clearly that Russia was the aggressor. Russia attacked Ukraine without cause, right? And if any other country, we would have done that. But anyway, I'm seeing this information here on YouTube, and saying that 2 minutes ago.
The source.
The source is the important thing, Gary, because there are a lot of fake news around the place.
Yeah. So I'm just watching this thing. I don't know how sure this is.
See where the source of that news clip.
I'm seeing it on YouTube. I'm just trying to verify what they say.
That's still YouTube, TikTok, all these things.
Yeah.
But what is a fact is that the Israeli they have been bombing a lot of oil stockpile and storage facilities in Iran. And that is pushing the price now. It has pushed WTI above 100. It's at, I think I hit 108.
108 and something. 108.71, I think, when I looked.
So that is going to have an impact
in the market big time in the morning.
The futures market already started to sell off. The Dow, if I could quote here,
at 10 o'clock tonight, the futures markets will point the direction of the next trading. So
right now is the Dow is down 860 points.
Yes.
The S&P futures is down 118 points. And the Nasdaq is close to 500 points down.
Wow! So expect a down market and may go down even further if that news Gary just read.
Well, Sumada also.
I have to look it up. I'm not sure how much this just came across as a news flash, so I don't know.
Right.
We have to check the source. A lot of AI and stuff, and fake news and stuff there. We have to look at that. Because that is big, for US to bomb a Russian facility. That is huge news.
Baltic.
Yeah.
Well, they say it's in the Black Sea. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but Sumada,
if I may add something, Kenny.
Go ahead.
Just following through with this oil price, this surge in oil price. Excuse me. What does that mean for the rest of the world? As an economist, when I was studying economics, it's always a question of supply and demand. We all know that, right? Economics is about supply and demand, production and
Correct.
distribution, uh, and consumerization as well, production and consume. But what is happening is that as the price of oil shoots up in the global market, Trinidad used to be, and I say prior to 1918, we used to be a net beneficiary of something like this. However, now that that refinery is sold, right, we can also expect to suffer consequences. Now it has been flipped. Instead of us benefiting from increase in oil prices, we will be suffering with the rest of the Caribbean and the rest of the world with these prices, because our production is just 55,000 barrels per day. We are no longer refining that. So you see that now you're beginning to see the stupidity and the viciousness on which the sale of the refinery is having on Trinidad and Tobago now. Because what's going to happen? As oil prices increase, we have to pay more for our gas and oil and whatever finished products we're buying. We're also going to be facing what? A huge, huge, huge transportation cost, because our goods are going to become expensive because we import literally every damn thing, or we are a very consumerized society. So most of our products are imported. We have developed that fancy taste for anything imported. It's nice. We can enjoy tomato from Florida, as well as dragon fruit and what these unnecessary things, in my opinion. You're importing lots of cucumbers and English cucumbers and whatnot. You can see in the grocery shelves. Everything imported is going to have a higher transportation cost associated with it. What is that going to tell you now? In addition to that, there will be increase in local transportation cost as well. So not only shipping cost, local transportation cost, because the cost of fuel has increased. So we have a double whammy. And once that comes into play, what happen? The banks now, because of inflationary pressures starting to trend up, the bank, that's a holy truck passing behind me here. So,
Okay.
yeah. So with that now, with the banks will be inclined to raise interest rates to counter the inflationary spiral. So this is a whole network of things happening one time or arising out of this increase in oil prices. This dramatic increase. I mean, in one time it went about $17, and I expect more if that news on the Baltic bombing is true. Might be another $8 to add it to that. So,
Might jump to $125 a barrel.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we don't know. But one thing I can tell you is that the market prices adjust to these things immediately. So right away, contracts for shipping and oil contracts going forward, it kicks in the morning.
Yes, because the price of diesel here is close to $5 already. And gasoline is about $4 and some change, $4.35.
Oh.
Right? In California, I think it's already $8 a gallon.
And summer ain't kicking yet.
Yeah.
Once summer kicks in the next month or two, what happens? Driving season in Florida goes right up maybe it might go to $6 or $7 a gallon.
Correct.
So
and that is going to drive inflation.
Drive inflation, drive interest rates as well, And that whole destabilization of the world economic activity makes investments, people with money now will consider very carefully the risk in setting up businesses overseas. So looking at stability and countries with good security system, a good financial systems. In other words, countries with has a fair degree of transparency and accountability in their financial dealings. These are the countries that investors will be flocking to if they want to invest. And God forbid that takes root and we cannot get our security systems in place and regularize our banking system and so on. We may suffer along with the rest of the other countries or islands in this regard of failing to attract any sort of meaningful investments. You see, it's had a lot of redounding effects just by that increase in the oil prices, the inflation.
It would have a ripple effect.
Yes,
because everything relies on energy. Everything relies on energy.
Everything relies on energy.
You need to go to the grocery store from your house. You're either going to jump in a taxi that uses gasoline.
Hold on a second there, gentlemen. Rod, you hearing us? Rodney, you hearing us? I'm not hearing him. Hold on a second.
Hello, Rodney.
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. So welcome, Rodney. I got our civil engineer that I wanted to introduce you, Mr. Ken Dalton.
Hi, Rodney. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. Rodney, Laventille West candidate.
Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening.
I know we get on the live, so I would see as
Just say what is it you're about and what you're doing and your activities yesterday. You had some sport in here.
I was at Chumakak. We started a project. Actually, the as we call them, the community leaders wanted us to keep something going because they see the violence starting to wear up. So they wanted to have a little league that we all come together and do a little football. So a night, maybe on some other night, I would try to go over and give a coverage of the league.
So,
we have
Rodney, if I may just stick up in there, when you say community leaders, just clarify because that word.
I lost your voice there for a minute, Rodney. Come back with that.
Yeah, I mean the community leaders.
Community leaders have a different connotation, So,
well, we you might call them the gangsters, but we call them the community leaders.
okay. Well,
So so I wanted to give Ken an insight. You see, we were discussing the issues. Remember back in under the PNM rule, all that sewage was coming up in under those people's kitchen. But I seem my buddy Anderson Wilson seemed to disappear on me. I can't find him. He's not answering his call, or he was complaining so much and balling down the place.
No, because remember the person who won the seat is Anderson's nephew.
Oh, okay.
So he in the play the two sides of the coin.
Right. So what I needed from you is, you see, our civil engineer will be there soon, next week or so, and I wanted you to give him a little insight of what actually is taking place there, and maybe one day during the daytime you could go down in the area and go live with us.
You see what happened? The Laventille cannot flood because Laventille on a hill. But all the water from the Laventille just end up all on the back road and into the Beetham to come out. But if you watch the size of the drain that coming from Laventille to the back road, the drain tin. So that's why everything just end up in the road. And we just had this sort of flood and all this backing up of all this sewage and all them things.
Yeah, but what I'm concerned about is, see how that raw sewage came up in those people's kitchen?
Well, because everything backing because of the water, the volume of water coming from the top. Remember all the water coming down, no matter what happened, the water had to go down. but then you don't have
So the drain can handle the flow capacity there.
No, it's a small little drain that's passed under the beacon there anytime
So-
you pass the beacon.
nice.
So the flow velocity, the drain can handle it.
Yeah, the ingress egress ratio is
Yeah.
skewed big time.
Yeah,
skewed.
huge, because all the drains picking up, it have one major drain that runs from
Mhm.
the top of Laventille to the bottom to the back road, right? But when you reach the back road, the whole to go through to cross the back road,
That's
the Peter Highway.
You mean the
It's a-
culvert?
Tin,
yeah,
tin, tin,
it's a culvert. That's what it is, a culvert.
you know, so you have that problem, and that now the water will take it away and go into the sewage now and push everything back up.
What do you mean the
about-
water will go into the sewage?
Because it will go into, remember, most of the sewage lines
There's
run
a
more on
there's a combined sewage system there.
yeah.
Right, that's the old system. So
that
once it
whole-
cannot
that actually
handle-
never changed. It had
The-
never, since I know myself, I 52, I never hear that change. That is the
Yeah,
old-
once it becomes overwhelmed, it's going to bubble through the manholes.
so it's straight after that drainage can't take no more, it head into the manholes.
So the influent is backflowing, bubbling up through the manholes. When it's
Yeah,
supposed to go to the sewage lift pump or something there,
right.
the sewer
So
plant.
It ended up in the manholes, and the water that coming down, they started the mix now. So instead of it,
yeah,
it going up, it coming back up on the road.
And I mentioned this also in Port of Spain. This is not just in your area there. This is almost
So
throughout.
they have
Whenever
that from
there's a
over down
combined system,
straight
it's a normal typical
up
problem with a combined
Yeah.
system.
the Hyatt, all them areas down there.
In front of the Express building,
Yeah,
the guy
all
contacted
them-
me and said, Ken, I want to show you something. Right? In front of the Express building, in front all over Port of Spain. This is why when it floods in South Key, I tell people that's a health hazard. So you have influent, right, bubbling back through the manhole because
Yeah.
the pipe cannot handle the flow capacity,
Yes, yes.
right? And
Yeah.
it mixes with the runoff. And then you have
Right.
people walking through these waters and stuff, so it's a health hazard.
Right now, it have about 2 or 3 manhole right now shooting water out of it right now at present in Port of Spain.
and this is the dry season, man. So you
The
could
dry-
imagine.
And right
Yeah.
now, we have about 2 manholes right now shooting water up.
So we will have to look at this and come up with a solution for it and talk to the relevant government authorities. And we will come up with a design solution for that.
That's what I'm just do is go and clean the Beetham drain and clean that, and that is it, you know.
East Dry
Right,
River. the
but
next
No, we
big
need,
remember-
we need that holding capacity to be expanded.
Yeah, but remember also, Rodney, that the outfall
What
is
you talk about that Kareem took Jolene to is basically that.
yeah. Remember the outfall, right? In these outfall drains, they're also outfalling into a tidal water body. So when
Nice.
there's a high tide and you have a rainstorm, it exacerbates the problem.
In all the time,
So-
every time you have a high tide, it back in.
So again, that will call for a much bigger design, right?
Correct.
Solution. We're not
No.
just going to propose a little fragment, a little plaster here and there. We're coming with an overall holistic solution there. So-
Yeah.
I'll meet with
So-
you to talk to you about it.
Yeah, but this
Yeah,
thing didn't happen overnight.
Drainage system. I will show you how it ended up in town, into Port of Spain. And I will show you that water, them go try with the one once they change that going
So-
on. All the
Someone
time.
and I will come there. Someone you'll come and park by me and we'll drive up there and check him out.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we'll do a site
Right.
visit.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
But that
So
means
we will document it and then we go to the minister with the
one more terrible.
with the proposal.
That getting more and more terrible. By the year,
It is solvable. It is
Yeah.
solvable. Right? I will have to I know how to address it. We address stuff like that in the US already. So that's
Yeah.
nothing new.
you see, but you know, and they know it need to change, yeah, because when they do it other year, they do a kind of they bring in some company or something, and they went down with more than
There's a feasibility.
Yeah.
they did, yeah.
Well,
so
well,
that year was the least flooding we ever get in Port of Spain.
yeah. Well, look, we're looking at good engineering solutions, right? Not the one that you saw by the lighthouse there, where the water in South Key was higher than the water in the ocean,
Exactly.
right?
And still it was not going
Because
on.
because they put a 2D trash rack. Gary, you have that picture of the 2D trash rack? Gary, you there?
Yeah, I'm looking for the files. Talk with him.
Yeah. So, Rodney, I want to show you a problem here that some people, they swear by it, right? And my thing is the people who are implementing these obsolete structures, designs, they are part of the problem. They're contributing to the problem, right? And I want to show you something here, and you will probably see exactly. I don't even have to explain it when you see this image here. And it's
Once
the exact
Gary-
same thing. Look at this. Look at this,
at it.
Rodney.
Yes.
What are you seeing there?
Yes.
He
Look
may
at
know
that
that
garbage.
one. He may know where that is.
And the next thing is, what is the schedule pickup to clean this thing?
Well, no, this is not about a scheduled pickup. This is garbage sticking on a 2D trash rack,
Exactly. But
and it's constricting the flow to a lift pump.
that garbage might be cleaned every 4 years.
Well, that is just garbage flowing down the drain, eh? Just
Yeah.
like Port of Spain, where it comes in the storm drain. And Gary, you have the video with the Port of Spain lighthouse flooding.
You guys chat. I'm gonna have to reload it. I had to clear out some stuff. So go ahead, talk a little bit.
So,
Right.
Rodney, you see this problem here? Anywhere you see a 2D trash rack like this, right? Or a flat piece of grating just across a drain, make sure and document the location and take a picture of it, please, because that will contribute to flooding.
Okay.
And you're seeing how it's going to contribute right there on the screen with the plastic waste, mainly the plastic bags, and there's
Yeah.
some organics stuck to
Yeah.
it,
And like
reducing
the-
the cross section. It's impeding the flow.
And if I would cry you, and when they come out, show you some of the drains where all these when rain fall, we've seen all these bottles coming down.
We have a solution for that also.
It's terrible.
Well, don't worry. When we look at it, we'll meet with the minister and we'll propose some good engineering, effective, viable solutions that has been proven, tested already.
And then
So yeah,
then
so what did I?
Yep. You see, and like this, you're watching this image here, and you're saying, when last that clean?
And then how are you going to clean that? Somebody
How
has to
you-
risk their life and go in that drain there with a soda scraper and scrape that off,
Like, next thing, how you're going to clean that?
right? Now,
And
think of
who-
how difficult it is to clean that versus how easy it is to intercept it prior to getting to that point with an effective design.
Well, that's what I had to do.
So yeah, so we have to meet and have some serious discussions there because we can't afford to have people implementing solutions like this that's going to exacerbate the problem, right? And Gary's looking for a classic case, and you probably saw it also, where the lighthouse, they implemented 2 pumps and they had a 2D trash rack like this,
Yeah.
and
well,
that trash rack was clogged with plastic
that
waste.
didn't work at all.
It was clogged with plastic waste
Yeah.
because, again, Port of Spain is a high traffic area. So there's a lot of garbage being generated, and a lot of that will get into the storm drains. What happened?
I think that was where the walkover is, Rodney.
Yeah, I know it is. It's close to the market.
Yeah, right by the lighthouse there.
opposite the market. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I live up the hill. That's down to the bottom of me.
Yeah,
I
the
pass
blue-
every day by the market. Right now,
the
that's
blue-
just a up area.
Yeah, it was painted in blue when I passed
Yeah.
them last I passed there. Yeah.
It's just a bushy area now.
Yeah, on the left hand side when they're going
Have
into
no
Port
pumps.
of Spain.
There's already 2 pumps now. It have no pumps, nothing there. That just full in with water and just emptying back when it feel like. Sometimes they send a barcode to clean it out, and then it
That-
goes back to normal again.
That is called a design. That's a disaster. Right.
That's what-
I mean, so I mean, look, you know, look, but you know, hey, guys, you know what? Think about how much money was spent there. This trial and error engineering.
Then the next thing is with that same thing they have there, the pump running into a big drain that still going on, and the problems coming out on the bottom side.
Yeah. Yep.
The pump
But
was
when
running
we
drain on the
Well-
side of the market, which is a big drain which cross the Beetham Highway to
now
go.
you
over.
mentioned the market, the Port of Spain market, that will generate a lot of waste, eh? A lot
But
of
that was
waste.
so you said in waste into waste.
Correct.
And that's a major constriction, a plug there.
Now,
Yeah,
one
man.
of the biggest problem we have by the market there, everybody watching, which one is water coming from to go, wait at the go, and then the big drain, and then empty, and then the market flooding still. So where it's stopping?
Well, all right. Well, when we come down there, we'll do a thorough investigation, and we'll come up with some solutions. We'll work backward from downstream, and we will implement some solutions there that will alleviate that problem. Because we can't have our farmers coming to sell there and they have to wade through with food in influent that's mixed with runoff and flooding the entire place there.
They
We're dealing with food.
in the night, and if you get yourself a good rain pass, that'll find some way to think under the flyover, because that whole front they're gonna flood.
Because you see trucks park out there from 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when it floods. The market
Yeah.
area is lower than the road, you know, so trucks have
Yeah.
to stay on the roadway itself.
Losing your mic there, Rodney, like it can take it. But anyway, Ken has some drain design. He has some floodgate designs and some other infrastructural designs. He will discuss with you firsthand as he get down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that-
So Gary, you have Rodney's number, so you have his contact, right?
Yeah, me and Rodney in regular contact. So
Okay, so I will get it from there, and Suman will come down by me, and both of us we'll drive up and go and meet with him, and we'll drive around and do a field investigation there, right? And then
Yes.
once we identify the problem, right, based on the volume and the flow and the size of these drains and the volume of garbage, we will
Yeah,
come up with a solution,
drain to
and
the
we
top.
propose it to the minister.
all right, look at the video now. Stand by.
Rodney, look at this video.
Wait. Hold on a second. Wait, it's all right. It's still. Hold on 1 second. I get it here. Let's see.
Look why the flooding taking place in Port of Spain. The whole of South Kile. Look at here. Look at this. And this is the pump here by the lighthouse, right? This is the lighthouse here, Port of Spain right there. Look at the water in here. Like the drain for Port of Spain, where the water supposed to come down, right? And watch how the water falling out. You see how it's falling out wholly? Because to the back of them iron body is only rubbish. And the rubbish holding back the water. So the water is slipping through little spaces. The water not flowing out straight. Only rubbish. Look at the water. And what's there? And that's what's right about it. See what's going on there? You better start work. What you hear about this? Them big pump they're supposed to be pulling that water there and pushing it out. And the tide low. So how it is, the city is flooding. Total failure.
Go ahead, gentlemen. Go ahead.
A key takeaway there, right? The whole of Port of Spain flooding and the tide low, right?
So that is a problem.
Okay, so we also
What-
need some larger pumps, like I've been showing on the screen here a little bit.
Yeah.
To deal with these kind of things, we need larger pump house, more effective.
But Gary,
push the water out.
if we have the pump, right, but the water can't get to the wet well, it wouldn't make sense. That's the same problem that occurred in Bamboo.
Well, I mean, it's a combination
With the
of things. But we
garbage.
definitely
Yeah.
those pump houses, based on the capacity of rain we get in, the flood we get in, those things are too small to deal with. We need something of a larger scale,
And
then
we need to
and the
address the garbage
infrastructure
also.
has to be the infrastructure has to be redesigned in the way you would
Correct.
have to look up the flow where it coming
Correct.
from and map it out, and then and expand where you need to expand and things like that. Go ahead.
And
Definitely
remember,
correct.
guys, that the urgency of these things. Remember, this is the dry season. In the next 2-3 months, we getting rain. And these
That's no
things,
problem, Sumad. We could work it. We could deal with it. I mean, it would be preferable to work in the dry season, but the cost to construct might be a little more expensive,
And not
right?
only
Because you have to
that,
deal with
then
trash
you have
pumps and
to-
stuff.
Then you have to put out tenders and so on to get pumps, and you know how government operates. That will take you a process of 6 months to a year before you can implement new pumps into these solutions. So
Yep. before we implement the new pumps and all these kind of things, we need to fix the traps and them properly.
The traps, correct.
Correct.
That
So the traps,
and
that
we
is
need-
where I come in. I have a design for that, right? And I've solved similar problems in bamboo number 3 there, where the garbage being generated from those food stalls. Now, I'm not saying that they would dump their garbage and stuff, but what happened? They would put their garbage in garbage bags and they would have them pile up. And sometimes the garbage truck would.
we have to introduce all the recycle plan and everything, Ken. So you guys could
Correct.
probably meet in Bamboo, showing where you got, and then go up there.
one of these
Yeah.
days,
Yeah. I'll have Rodney come down to bamboo. And
when we
Rodney,
have
I'll show you.
of rain, I would videotape and show you all how all the rubbish from on the hill is washed
Definitely,
straight down.
that'll be nice. That'll be nice.
This washed
Send us
straight
some
down.
videos, send some footage.
Was that coming down a hill?
That is with velocity, yeah. That's a lot of. I mean, that water is moving with speed.
That's what I'm saying. It coming with a speed, and then the rubbish that we have piled up every week, we have rubbish piled up. So when the rain fall, because we have a serious picking up of garbage problem on the hill.
Right. And not
Right.
only that, remember on a weekend, Ken and Gary and Rodney, there is no garbage this pickups Saturday and Sunday.
There's no pickups. They wait till Monday morning. And on
So
Monday,
you see,
here where the biggest
know.
problem we have. Monday morning, the truck comes and take up all the bins, and all of the side of the bins stays there.
yeah, correct.
And
So
it will
it rain-
stay there until the corporation comes
yes,
to clean up
Yes.
at the side.
absolutely correct.
So if the rain fall within that period before the corporation,
But it
All
goes
is-
back into
Everything
Down-
is down the drain.
back into the drain.
right? So that's one of the biggest problems we have on the hill with when coming to that water, because sometimes when rain fall and you drive down the hill, it's only stone in the road, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Stone and garbage share in the road, you know. Sometimes we just like come out and clean it
Yeah,
up.
jumping out from the invert because the float it
Exactly.
clogged, so it's overflowing. So the
It's when we
water
have a
velocity is
good
just
shower.
pushing it out.
I would do a videotape and show you, and I will show you one of our biggest problem, which I have a big dumping site, which is by the center. I will show you the volume of garbage that's just come down from that place.
Rod, what I needed to do is put some marker to measure rainfall. So take a stick, and so we want to know within half hour how much inches of rain we get, things like
Yeah.
that. So you can set it in different area, so we know we're collecting some data on what we're dealing with.
All right, I will try
And most of all, Rodney, videotape and capture it in video, right? Plan
Mhm.
it, the video and look at the whole
Right. So
alignment of the drain, the clogs, the flooding, right? This is very, very important data.
yeah, so when we can juxtapose what Rodney is his videotape with what's happening in Bamboo and see if there's any correlation to solve the problem like that.
Right. So we'll start with a bamboo tour, Rodney. You'll meet us in bamboo number 3, and we'll start the tour there.
All right, no problem. That's not a problem.
And I'll introduce you to some of the solutions. We'll look at the I mean, it's almost the same thing. The only thing you have a slope to deal with, which is
Yeah.
a worst case scenario
Yes.
because you're dealing with
Exactly.
increased velocity.
I don't understand how we have a major drain like that and it had no cash pit. It had nothing to stop the flow. of
Well, I
water.
was going to say that. I was going to mention that just now. You need strategically placed catch pits to catch these big boulders, these big pieces of debris.
Have
right?
nothing. All we have is rain coming down in a drain, and that's it. No,
No,
stop.
we once we get there, Sumara and I will run we will do a thorough investigation and we'll come up with a solution.
Okay. Rodney, if I may ask, I used to work in Port of Spain many years now, and I used to work in St. Anne's,
Yeah.
not by the Mother House, the government office.
All right.
So,
yeah.
by the East Dry River runs alongside the road where it used to be the play field now. It's to play rugby and son where the Prime Minister's residence is.
Yeah.
That part of it, that's if you were to fall in that East Dry River, I mean, kids used to play in the bottom there and play cricket, football in the evening and so on. And when a little shower fall up in the hills from the man, there's up in the hills there, the Chancellor. You seen that river is like that will push over a 40-foot
And that
container.
for you from the same drain coming from up by me to
Yeah.
down. No way you can see you can get saved in our drain, because that running between house, behind house,
Oh,
in house, around house.
you seen mattresses. Don't talk about carpets, car windows, doors, all bed springs, all these things coming on with a force, a serious force.
And
Right?
then we have no control over it because the banks, some of the banks done start to eat away. It's real problem. People house and all end up in that.
As you get to Piccadilly by the mosque there,
Yeah.
that's like a collection point. There's only one set of cardboard and Tyrotex.
That's where the sprangers and all them just go and stay in the dry season.
Yes.
On that
Piccadilly Street.
over there.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you come down here, that's why you just find one or two once a year or twice a year. You just find one of them get washed down.
Correct.
And I saw they had a couple rescues with the homeless guy. He got washed
Right.
away in the flash flood. The water came down and they had to rescue with a rope or something.
Coming down.
And
Yeah,
I
but
believe someone
you
drowned
know the
also.
thing about it, guys, is the negligence from the previous government over many years with no proper garbage pickup, no proper designated area for dumping. So I mean, this thing was just left to fester.
Gary, if I tell you how the garbage pickup is by us, you ball. Because the trucks are not allowed to pick up garbage at the side of the garbage. So if you leave garbage from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you come in Monday, it's obvious that will overflow with the volume of people lives up here. Right?
Yeah, but Rodney,
The
we're also
garbage,
thinking about
put
rats.
it at the side.
Hold on a second. I
Guys.
want him to explain that. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Rod.
The garbage, when the garbage collector comes on a Monday, only what is in the garbage itself is what they're taking up. Besides that, everything at the side stays there until the corporation sends a truck and a backhoe to move it, which might happen the Wednesday, the Thursday, or the Friday.
Wow.
Before the next our garbage pile up again.
So if you have organics inside that garbage, that's a health hazard.
Yeah, but that was saying, if our garbage truck coming to pick up rubbish, why you can't just, and all the garbage in bags, why you can't just throw that in back in the bin and offload it one time? The guy tell me they're not allowed to touch that. That is not the contract.
Well, you see, that's the point. That's where the systems comes in, Ken. Remember I told you all these systems are broken? This is what I mean when I say systems are broken. These things have to be revisited and cleared.
Yeah,
That
because
avoid the double work.
yeah,
The
because
double
garbage
work.
is garbage, Samad.
Garbage
Yeah,
is
you
garbage.
pick it up.
That's
You
right.
pick up garbage. You telling me you watching bags of garbage. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily garbage all over the place, you know. You watching
Right, but
bags
Rodney?
of garbage.
And I
So
like
we
Rodney,
need, so
I
we
don't
need to
care-
increase
I don't-
we need to increase the pickup.
Yeah.
In addition to the
Yeah,
pickup, the
but
policy also.
the
Because the guy
policy
saying that
is
is not
strong.
their job to pick up that and all sort of thing. Right? Once you see
Yeah,
garbage,
they
you
say
pick it up.
job.
Garbage
Once
is
the
garbage.
garbage bin overflows and it goes at the side, they're telling you that is not their job. They are not to pick it up. And when you call
Yeah.
about it, the councillors is telling you, no, that them don't have to do that. The corporation had to send a backhoe now to clean that.
Garbage is garbage, man. That's what it is.
That's a
Garbage
waste.
is
That's a
garbage.
waste and a mismanagement of resources there.
Correct. System
Right.
broken.
So
And also-
these are some of the things that we have to document and address with the local government.
And it also creates a health hazard for the
community.
residents. Because you have
sometimes
rodents, you have
it
flies.
takes us
right?
almost to the ending of January to clear all that rubbish. Sometimes it reached a stage that somebody will light a fire and burn all the rubbish right there.
And you know, in the middle of a residential community, you have this taking place.
That is what we had to live with. I will show you. I would really the next program I would take some pictures of a dumping area and all will see the
Hey, Rod, I want to go live with you in the daytime. So let me know.
right.
Yeah,
And I will
we
show
will
you
have to run it live.
volume of garbage that this the stay on a weekend. I would go the Friday and then go back the Monday and you would see
Oh, yeah.
volume
Yes,
of garbage
yes,
that
yes.
is collect on a weekend.
In fact, tomorrow during the day, give me a holler And let me know when you're ready. Charge up your phone and head out there, and we go cover the story.
All right. Well, I would in the morning when I pass in, I will call you and then I will show you the
Yeah, give me a
volume
holler.
of garbage.
Tomorrow is Monday, so it's a good day to get,
Yeah.
you know.
I will show you the volume of garbage that is stay there on a weekend. And the trucks only taking up what in the bin.
Got you. We got you clear and loud, man. You understand?
Not
what's
what are
going
the
on.
side there. And it's, when I tell you, it's almost 40 feet of rubbish on the ground.
Wow.
Damn.
Because
That is a problem.
That bin picks up Sugren Trace, Desperados, Laventil Road, parts of Laventil Road into 42nd Street. Everybody brings their rubbish there, and there's a big volume of Laventil.
So what's the size of the bin? You need 2 bins?
It have 4 bins there, and it careful. It just be full totally. It have 4 bins there.
So then they need to expand that. If that
They need
garbage,
to build a proper structure, something that wouldn't, you know, that wouldn't. And then when I show you these pictures, imagine rain falling because it's right back canal.
Now are we talking?
Wow,
Imagine
that's a problem,
when
right?
rain fall, and this thing at the side they pile up, and then you
Goes-
leave it now where a stray dog will come and pull it in the drain.
Bust it in the
Tear,
night.
tear it apart.
Exactly.
Looking for food scraps, tear it apart, and the whole thing. And that's where you had the problem right there.
In the drain. So
In the
when the
drain.
rain come now, everything just washing down to Port of Spain. Because Laventil people wouldn't have the problem now because it's going down the drain. We might
The
have
people
some
down
in
the
road,
market, down
but it's
those selling
down
food
the
in the market.
What they
Yeah.
hit the market, it's in East Dry River.
So,
That's a
so
problem.
let's map out how this thing is flowing. You know, the area you may need extra pickup trucks there. I mean, if they have like a one designated area for pickup, maybe you need some more trucks going into different areas so everything don't come one place. Possibly, maybe an incinerator too for the area, being that the amount of
Yeah.
garbage coming.
We will have to get somebody else because that one truck just tried to cover the whole
No,
area.
no, one truck can be. But what I'm saying to you,
Yeah.
possibly maybe Rod identify an area where we could place an incinerator.
Okay, yeah.
You understand what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if that would help too. I think that would help drastically. You know.
Yeah, but Gary, we have to be careful because the type of garbage
Yes,
that's
correct.
inside there, the composition of garbage, they could create toxic fumes and stuff for the residents.
Yes.
Right,
Most of
right,
that
right.
might
But
have to
what
go
I'm
to the
saying,
landfill and get sorted. Yeah.
yeah.
Remember, the
Well,
garbage is not
you
sorted, it's all mixed.
let's what we want to try to Rod, we want to try to introduce a recycle program now.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
separate the cans and the bottles and
Organic,
thing
yeah,
from
on
the
energy.
from the regular garbage. So that way we'll make things easier too, you know. And
Yeah.
we're trying to encourage an opportunity for people to recycle
Yeah.
but plastic and make things with it and stuff like that, you know.
Up here trying with the plastic bottles and them kind of thing. Have a lot of people just come around and tell you, well, save the bottles first and that kind of thing. You have a lot of people doing it.
Right. So try to encourage the recycle. Tell them what we're thinking about, and I will align you with another team that's working with us there. That'll be doing some programs in the Bamboo area. And then you know, so when Ken gets down there, you guys will all link up. You know, it's just a week you'll
Definitely.
be there, and then so you guys will get some things moving. All right.
Yeah.
So we want to bring the issues forward. You know.
But yeah. Because I would you all wouldn't believe the kind of terrible garbage I'm gonna show you tomorrow.
No. You just tell me when you're ready, and I'll send you a thing. I'll be ready to go, man.
You would believe it's down to tires and everything right. They just
Yeah,
come
because
and everything right there.
that water flow with a velocity, it moving anything.
Yeah. So when they just empty the bins and leave everything around the bins, problem.
In the drain.
So when the
Problems,
corporation,
yeah.
So this is something we want to address with the local government minister. All right. So
Rodney,
you write up something, and we make a recommendation. You know.
Yeah.
No,
Rodney,
works out.
Let me ask something.
The problem I called her with and that thing, she just give me that air. Right? Because for the carnival season I work alongside her and she just give me that air. Right?
Right.
But I don't know what's going on with the trucks, that pickup and that truck thing. I don't know if she have a good insight onto it. Because
So-
Well, you know, we want to do everything to bring the information. Listen, we have the ultimate best minister of local government at this point in Trinidad and Tobago. We also have the best minister of works, right?
yeah.
That the country could ever get. So
Yeah,
what we want to do now is to make sure we bring in real time information to them. We
Yeah.
bring in the issue and we bring in the solution too, right?
right.
Correct.
And we want to encourage the local community to do what they can in order to work alongside with this, because we're all working together in trying to make the country better.
Right. If
Rodney?
I might just ask a question.
Go ahead, Saman. No, go ahead.
Have you had, Rodney, any sort of discussions, preliminary or otherwise, with the Ministry of Works concerning drainage? And
No.
then anyone come and look at the place and tell you what solutions or what they're planning to do, or if funds are allocated
That is
to
one of
arrest it?
all right. For instance, as I just talk plain. I just tell people me free to talk. I do hide to talk and I just talk. Right? Kareem came. You came to meet Kareem to see about drains and this and that. Why a call wasn't sent out to Rodney, who is the UNC representative for the area, to be on these things, to say, well, all right, it's not just down here.
Correct.
The communication, the problem I just have with my colleagues, you see that communication, it is stay at a different level. We don't have that down communication.
Well, we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that.
We don't have that at all.
Yeah, because that's an important thing, Rodney, for everybody to be on board.
Exactly.
Right.
But you
Even,
going-
even though he's not the official MP,
representative
he's
for
the
the
party
And when you-
representative.
if in the area seeing something on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, how would you feel at the end of the day when something is going on and you have no clue about it?
That's
And,
why
and
I
not only
asked the
that, you
question.
have the best idea and solution for, because you've been in this thing longer than anybody there.
I was always tell them, if you watch at Kareem, he's the MP, yes, but everything he does is for the Beatum. Beatum is not Lavantil. You see where he took her to? He took her to Cashville and to the Beatum, which are the ending product is. But what is the problem is with the big drain coming down the road? Did he show Jolene that? Never did.
Right, and Rodney, that's a good point.
We're going to light it up. We're going to put it on video. Everybody's going to see where the problem is. We're going to identify where the problem is. Like I said, I want this thing mapped out. You understand? Both on paper and video. All right? We're going to identify the thing together with you. I mean, I just waiting for the carnival to finish for you to get a little free up. And then I say, well, we're going to take something.
You see, that I was saying, these things, it is trigger a different feeling into you when you naturally see this thing on Facebook and like, I do exist in this party. What really going on? You know, the communication, the problem we have is serious communication, boy.
That is why I asked the question, Rodney. Have you communicated with ministry officials or anybody else?
But we listen, guys. What happened in the past happened in the past. What we're going to do going forward, we will collaborate with him. We will assist him in the documentation and in the recommendation of what should be done, right?
Certainly. Rodney, one thing I wanted to capture or to highlight is the culvert crossing under the highway.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That is very, very important,
But that, you see the call, but then we have a issue happening now. Well, I see they try to eradicate it for the carnival period. Since the removal of CPEP, you're having remember Lavantil is as a set of corners and blind corners. And with these bush grain back up now, you're having a lot of accidents. Especially under that same flyover. Since CPEP close to now, it had about 9 cars crash right under that flyover. And that's because when you bend the corner, you only see bush and you ain't see the car coming to you. And that is a problem we're having throughout Lavantil itself. Now, it have on 2 occasions I had to take money out of my own pocket because I drive on the road. You understand? To clear bush at the side of the road because as you swing there, it's like, I would even show you that in the video because it's not even far from the dumping area.
Right.
I will walk that and show you how when you go around that corner, our car is at the brakes for our that car coming around that corner.
Because the sight distance is reduced.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, because the bush, when it's a blind corner, you're not seeing what coming around it.
But
Right.
who is in charge, Rodney? Is it the corporation?
Road.
Is it the corporation in charge or the ministry? That's what I want to find out.
More or less will be in charge of that.
Who is it?
The corporation.
So the corporation, the Port of Spain Corporation, not the
Yeah.
ministry.
Again, it have a kind of border fight between corporation. The problem is Laventille is so mixed up. It have parts of Laventille is Sawa regional and it have parts of
Yes.
And what
Yes.
happened? They would blame it on one another.
There's a blame game.
Yeah, it will be a blame game. No, that's not we bongs. That's Sawa Laventille. And when you go to Sawa Laventille, no, that's Port of Spain.
All right. And I thought that none of them addresses the problem.
And go from there. Because
Right.
that will be a seesaw. Up the road, down the road, up the road, down the road, and I can't take that.
Nothing gets done like that.
So that is one of the big issues we have in Laventille. We have parts that falls under Port of Spain Corporation
And
And
Sawa
that-
Laventille.
For instance,
Yeah.
Soga and Trace. The problem that falls in Soga and Trace is under Port of Spain Corporation, but the road is under Sawa Laventille. Same area. So it's a big border issue because you can't call Port of Spain to do Sawa work and then Sawa telling you that is not them own, that is Port of Spain own. It is be hell. It is be hell.
So I want all of these kind of things documented, guys. Rodney, going forward, keep a log. When you address a certain issue, who you talk to, what was said, these kind of things, and then, we will address it, as best as we can and giving you that support. But this is what I want to encourage people to do when they go to make a complaint and certain things are said to them. We need to know who to talk to and, what was said, because we intend to make a government of efficiency in Trinidad and Tobago. We didn't
Yeah.
come here to maintain the status quo. We may be a little bit delayed because of the cobweb that we are facing as we take government, and then the severe damage to the economy because a lot of money missing from the treasury. I know
Right.
boss lady had to go in all these different countries to rebuild relationship because they mash up everything, and you notice that the foreign countries are gravitating to her.
Yeah.
That in comparison to the previous government, you notice how people are gravitating to the boss lady.
Yeah.
So that is that's in our best interest. I mean,
Yeah.
Modi run down there. We were talking early, and on giving this and that. United States President who has been beating up everybody, embrace our Prime Minister so gracefully, right? And I mean, giving her, opening the door wide open to her. So, we're expecting some good things, and we just want our people, encourage our people to work together, and collaborate on their end, what they can do, and we're going to do what we can, and all come together for a better TNT. We want the community to be a better place. We want the children to have a better place to live, eliminate all this kind of thing that's going on in our country right now, with people trying to shoot down each other and all this kind of thing. That's not Trinidad way. We didn't live so. I
Yeah.
mean, we were people, you're playing cricket in the street and football and,
Well,
you eat and this kind of, this kind of thing going on is not we. I don't know where they pick up that from, but, we want to cut that out.
But as I saying idle hands bring idle minds, and it's not too much idle.
But we want to put some structure because the way I look at it, as far as I see, and I am 40 years, some years away from Trinidad, and what I see in social media, and you guys physically seeing it, I am not impressed with what I'm seeing. I'm seeing severe the damages to the infrastructure, as far as the community is concerned, a lot of things neglected grossly. I seen our treasury raided by people and they give crumbs. They give crumbs to the people that supported them. They really didn't get. Look at this whole CPEP thing. Look who was collecting the big bulk of the money.
These areas is naturally neglected areas, you know. These, as I tell somebody, I just use that all in my campaign. My brother came back here after 25 years and showed me all the tracks that he knows since he a little boy, and none didn't move. So what did he develop in Laventille? What has developed? You turn the tracks to roads? That what you're trying to say? So it's the infrastructure, and then you're watching Laventille developing. When you take out a picture a long time, you see the whole of Laventille with board house. Now if you take out a picture, you want to know who big house is that? But that big house have a big roof with plenty water coming off.
Correct.
Yep.
Where it ending up?
And the same also.
One of the things we want to look into is the that water storage, especially like on where they are collecting some of that water for usage within the residents there. The water plants, and you do a lot of things.
I don't see them. You see, like before, as a youth, I used to see a lot of WASA vehicles going to some of these sites. No, you don't see that, you know.
No, but what I'm saying to you, if we could get come to a stage where the resident has some tanks and they could collect some of their water for usage, because we have so much issue with water right now. Until we have a lot of infrastructure, we have major infrastructure work to deal with.
But you have big tanks. They have two big tanks on the hill.
From the rain, you know.
Rodney, if I may ask you, where you live and have two big WASA tanks up the hill.
Right. By me have to be exact.
WASA tanks up the hill, right up by the lady.
Around which I live.
Huh?
It have 5 tanks which I live.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Down the road where you talking about, where that is by Krongland, that is the only 2 tanks you see WASA servicing. The rest of tanks just D.
That correct.
So, but what I'm asking though is the personal resident ability to collect some rainfall.
But that is basically what most of Laventille living on right now.
Right. So,
water.
Right. So we want to try to make sure that more of that is there. Where
my problem with that, why should we have 5 tanks in our district with a major pump and suffering for water?
No, you see, I want to approach this thing in a multifaceted way. In dealing with the water supply, also, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's unfair to if you're making cars in my residence and everybody I will kind of that wouldn't look pleasant.
No. I understand that, but there's a multifaceted approach that I'm taking, in the sense that we utilize all the resources, because we have all this water that runs out into the ocean and nobody has water, right? Well, so we want to expand. We're talking about water retention. In fact, like up on the hill, if we could find an area where we could do some excavation and create a WASA holding storage area, where you could go back and reprocess that water, that is something we're looking to do too. We're not looking for all the water to run down from the hill.
We have springs.
That is a difficult thing to do in that area there, because it's a densely populated area. And given the terrain there, there's not much accessible land to build a meaningfully large containment area. If you know the structure, I've driven through all that area. I know that area inside out.
You have that problem.
You don't. It's a densely populated area.
Yeah.
You don't have that catch.
The density
hill and
hollow.
How how are you going to put a meaningful? It's not like
Is
mountain on 3 sides and you can block one side. It's not like that.
What I told people, remember, we have 2 major springs that gives off a lot of water when the day come.
Up the hill.
The one in Monrepo, where that water does go. And then you have one on Laventille Road, that runs every living day, and they tap into that. So where these water going to?
So it's just running out. Nobody's. So that's what I'm saying, Rob. We want to create the infrastructure to tap into all these resources, right? So that is what I'm suggesting. You know, that it's not just one approach we take in here. We're looking to utilize every resource in the way we can to make sure there's an efficient service for the people. But to me, it doesn't make sense to allow all the water to run out and we don't be able to reserve some of that water for usage. We have to find a way to design infrastructure to deal with this.
In Monrepo, the line that Wasat made coming out of that spring, the majority of Monrepo and Never Dirty gets water from that. They don't have problem for water.
So as Ken get them there, we could better look at the area. You know, we could look at
We can better look at it.
We could look at the how to say the topographic drawing. We could look at the layout of the land and identify what we can work with. You know, we want to be able to get.
Yeah, 'cause from what Rodney is mentioning, there's a conveyance problem. The drain is undersized, right? And the water comes with a velocity. There's no strategic catch pits to catch the big rocks and stuff washing down. The culvert crossing under the highway, right? We have to look at that also to ensure that they can handle the flow. And then the garbage coming down by the market,
Exactly.
right? Because we can't have flooding mixed with influent where there's food being sold.
And the pumps as well.
And then the thing with the market flooding, you have a big drain that runs parallel to the market. That is, the market will be flooded and that drain empty.
Because there's constrictions, there's garbage constrictions.
Remember, markets are marketing and they will be effluent thrown into the drain every day.
You would have things thrown away every day and rubbish.
Right.
I don't know. So there's maintenance is an issue there. Drainage, keeping that drain clean. Literally every other day you're supposed to be cleaning all that because a lot of market people throwing their pumpkin and cabbage and all the leaves and all these things. Where is it being emptied, do you think? In the drain. It finds itself in the drain.
So that's one of our biggest.
So you know, it will take a little time, but it's a combination thing we're going to do here, right? We're going to do education. We're going to source what we can from the government. We know and we understand that some things will take a little time because of the current economic situation. But we want to pull everybody together in order because these things that are there is affecting you directly. It's a health hazard. And I think it is something that everybody should be concerned about. It just needs some collaboration. It needs some leadership. It needs some direction. And I think we could get the Rodney. If there's nobody better than you down there who will get the collaboration of the people. There's nobody better than you to do that.
It's not a problem with getting the people, because the people are really willing to come out because at the end of the day, it affects them.
Yeah, correct.
So it's not really, it's not a problem to really get them to do anything or move on this situation.
Yeah, but we just want to make sure everything is working alongside with you. That's what I'm trying to get at. Because I know you are the man to get a job. You have that relationship with the people there, and is getting the resources, getting the collaboration. So whatever is lacking, we want to get that communication flowing. Ken will put this thing in a professional way, and we will make those recommendations.
Yeah, we could get that going.
Definitely.
Because that will solve a lot of problems in Port of Spain in general with that flooding. Because basically that majority of that water coming from by the market side and end up all by City Gate and down there. Because it didn't find no way to come out. It have no way to come out.
In other words, it can't cross the highway to reach the other side.
Yeah.
It can't cross the highway to reach the other side by the sea.
Yeah, you have that big problem.
Because of the constrictions.
Yes, because of constriction, low tide on the side and
exactly
basic water piling up in South Key.
Water just
shows that.
I was looking at Port of Spain, and the tidal influence is huge on those storm drains. In fact, you have a free flowing tide backing into those storm drains inside Port of Spain.
If you get say 2 minutes of heavy rain, You can't walk down Charlotte Street, you can't walk down Henry Street, you can't walk down Frederick Street.
And worse when they have a high tide.
And worse if it have a high tide.
But it don't have to happen in Port of Spain. It could happen sometimes up in the hill and Port of Spain dry. And you still got a problem. It happened to me already.
That's the thing. So
I went to a meeting in Pembroke Street.
A problem.
I went to a meeting in Pembroke Street. Sun hot, 11 o'clock in the day. But in the hills have rain. And I couldn't get to my car from the office. It have about 12 or 13 inches of water.
In the road.
Dry, sunny day. Dry, sunny day. And
Yeah,
Pembroke
because
Street is high up, but the closest savannah up there.
that's all
Right.
part of the catchment. You in the catchment.
Yeah. So you
It's
see,
flowing.
it don't have to have rain in the city for this thing to happen.
Yes, that's why I keep telling them.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm talking about, controlling the flow from uphill. We have to work on that. We have to redirect that flow. You know, we have to work. It will take some work, yes or no, because everything is put in the wrong place. So now we have to look at solutions of creating horizontal and diagonal drains so that we can redirect them flows. We have to find ways to intercept that flow and control it where it's going. That is what we need to do.
Gary, you know, that was the responsibility of the only good Indian, eh? He said by 2025, there will never be a flooding problem in Port of Spain any longer.
Yeah, I
You
think it's
only-
25 years.
Yeah, I know, the most honest Indian, but let me tell you
Only
something.
honest Indian, the scam.
It have another Indian called Gary Mahabir, right?
Yeah, he's an honest one.
And he volunteering himself, and he ain't getting paid, and he gonna deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. The only honest one, the easy one.
Yeah, everybody understand until it reached on the plate, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's up to this be. When it reaches the plate, it's a different story.
Yeah, so
And-
you know,
and-
like I said, with Ken here and you guys, as long as I get in the collaboration from the community, we're gonna make all the recommendations. The
Yeah.
only thing what slow
Certainly.
us down is how quick the cash flow comes in, right? But the
And coordination as well, Gary.
yeah,
Whatever
well, you know, I
coordination
am
we
going
can
to
get.
be in the face of everybody, right? And the most they could do is tell me no, right? But
we don't
the
want-
recommendation is coming solid. All right.
We don't want to hear this one talking to that one and
No.
that one
We
responsibility
going
and-
to. I just talk to everybody. So anyway, so the thing about it is the recommendation coming strong. It coming black, white, green, yellow, technicolor, how you want it. It come in, and it's up to how we proceed with it, right? This is what we're going to do. So Rod, you know I always work with you, and we're
Yeah.
going to deal with this directly, all right? And I'm sending people to work with you until I get there too. But you know, but we're doing this together, all right?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
All right, then. So anything else you want to add to Ken here? You guys carry on. I'll catch up in 2 minutes.
Basically, but with the flooding and those things, that was one of the major things I want to deal with, because it's really terrible when they get to the flat. You understand? We could maneuver on the hill, but when we get to the flat,
That's
it's
where everything comes down. That's the point of
Yeah.
concentration.
yeah, the flattest problem all by Success School. From the time you get a little sprinkle, you had to make the road go through the back roads and all them kind of thing, because the road flood out easy. You know, all them thing. It is
that,
where we
that road that goes to the Success Laventille
cool.
Junior Secondary. I know I went there to deliver computers already, so I know what the school is.
Yeah. So as you
Yeah.
get you have one of the lane gone. You have a one lane something.
Oh.
As you get a 2 minutes rain, that is it. One of the lane totally flood out. So all those things and all that is leading from the water that coming down. These drainage to the bottom there is very. It's just
Can't
like
handle it. It
but
can't handle it. It can't
It's
handle
narrow
it.
and it can handle the capacity.
can't handle it
Can't
all.
handle the flow.
So eventually, all it's doing is just push out everything and end up on the roadside.
Yeah. The volume is just too much at that point.
Yeah, to that point down there, the volume is ridiculous.
And when you factor in the garbage constriction, it reduces the cross section of these drains, makes it even
Exactly.
worse.
Exactly. So with that garbage and the size of the drain, it's terrible. It's
Not
no
to
way.
mention, Ken, not to mention, we have to always consider when were those drains built? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
Yes, you know, I born and meet them drain just so you know.
Right, so that is 50 years, 52 years, right? So check how many people have come in to live in that area since 50 years ago. That is how you have to consider that.
So you're generating more runoff.
Lot more runoff, lot more runoff.
Long time we had a little board house here, a little this. Now you watching some big house in love until when that water in the roof and come down.
That's like a little torrent.
And Rodney, also you have more hardscape. More people paving the yard, concreting the yard, all this sort of stuff.
That's where going on now. So everybody have a kind of way, everybody have the yard properly, this, that. And everybody run into the same little drain. Everybody roof run into that same little drain to go down the hill.
That's the point. That is the point. A lot more people come in, bigger
The
houses.
drain and also the drains say even to get to the major drain. Is on the road and run in to get to the major drain.
Correct. So the road will start to deteriorate if they don't have good drainage on the side.
We have car running on the road, so the road started to deteriorate. The rubbish coming on to the road, so the drain itself is totally blocked, so it have to go on the road. You know, and it have no stopping because that is downhill. So the water not stopping there. It coming out into the road and go down the hill.
Down, right. So Ken, I think what we could do is that we could take Rodney up to Bamboo number 3. If you bring some of his videos, we can see how we can, you know, juxtapose that against the Bamboo number 3. The solution may be the same, you know, with some modifications as well, you know, all depending on.
Well, one of the design will definitely off the bat could work there with regards to the garbage. But also we have to size. We're looking at size of the cross section of those drains. Yes. Rodney mentioned those drains have been there since he was a child, right? And you said, I don't know around his age and whatnot, but probably decades. They have not been upgraded. And while in the backdrop of the community expanding, right? A lot of hardscape, a lot of larger roofs, right? Generating more runoff. And no one stores water in their compound. It's direct discharge in the storm drains that have never been upgraded. And now also with bigger communities, more populated, it is becoming more and more densely populated, you have more and more garbage being generated. And when you compound that, isn't there a frequent pickup, you know, for this garbage, right? And then the dogs and the cats and stuff jumps in the garbage bins and they start tearing up everything and disperses the garbage. With the first drench, all of that goes washing down into the drain.
Not to mention
restrictions lower down.
Yeah, not to mention the intensity of the rainfall over the past few years now.
Very good point. Very good point, Samad. Right? So all of these contributing factors will create a worst case scenario there.
Yeah, rain is falling harder.
So we have to look at this, investigate this properly, right? And we will come up with a solution.
And then, you know, Rodney will organize a community meeting, and then you guys can meet with the people and try to say what you're trying to do and what you need from them in order to assist with what we're trying to accomplish here. You know, you can educate them, brief them a little bit, you know.
Definitely.
But I want Rodney to be with us at Bamboo number 3 so you can see what sort of solutions we can implement over there to at least bring some sort of relief in the meantime while the overall plan is being developed for his area. It's like a stopgap measure, but critical to all of this is the channel of communication. Who is responsible for this? I don't want to go when you start to talk, well, exactly what Rodney is saying. He has said, I already identified the problem. This one saying it's not my one. This one saying, no, it's his one. Then where are we getting? How are we moving forward with this?
Under this government, we don't want to hear that nonsense. We want some collaboration, and that has to fix. The communication has to fix. The senior government official above these people will have to fix that. You know, so we relay what the issue is, and they have to fix that. we not authorized to fix that. We recommending what the issue,
No,
we pointing
we
out the
can't
issue,
touch. We
and we
can't
need the
touch
issue
anything.
fixed.
We can't touch anything. You know, remember all the water in the Trinidad is Bassa water.
When coming to these two ladies that these things falling under, you know, it's just basically the communication breakdown is what we need to fix.
I know. That is
But
the point all over.
you know how idols operate, right? You see how quick idols with communication, right?
Yeah, because I work with Khadija for the carnival period, and basically the communication made everything work.
Yes.
It made everything work for the carnival period because she kept tongue totally clean, but she was on the button at all times. She didn't chance nobody, or she didn't wait for no engineer or this. She was out there.
Well, that's my girl. I know that.
She was out there. So when you find that happening, you would find people pulling the weight, people want to do, people all of a sudden, people will find more things to do, you know, because the minister on the button, you know. So the carnival period was really, really nice. I had a good pleasure working with her because she had everybody on the P's and Q's, making sure that the city was very clean after the carnival.
Nice.
And if you could do that during the carnival period, I don't see
You
it.
could do it anytime. I could do it anytime.
So which means basically the problem we have is a very serious communication problem.
Which I intend to help fix.
Because this same its issues falls under her, and Jolene is in no backward to her.
Right.
So basically it's really getting the proper communication through these two ladies from whoever it's coming from to make sure it happen. Because they'll work, I just call them work jumbies. When you think them sleeping them on the job, you know, Khadija calling me at 2 a.m. in the morning. So where you, we cleaning up or what? 2 a.m. Khadija out there. You know, so it's really and truly, we just need to put that communication together. And I feel this would work very fast.
Communication, let's get the collaboration, everybody working alongside each other, right? This is what we want. This is not he problem, and that's that one problem. Is all of we problem, we fixing it together.
From my level, I would run into a real problem. Because all right, for instance, I have a playground with 36 bulbs out. Since last year, November, I trying to get that fixed. They tell me go to the councillor. How are UNC candidate go to tap here, them councillor? Why go and tell she? She doesn't want to see me. But let's just say, well, all right, we have 36 lights out. You need to write to this one. Them not time for that. And since November last year, we look how far we is. 4 months has gone and no lights. And that light does help the community. When coming to night, it is shine all over by to Desper side and all those sides, keeping the place bright where everybody feels safe, moving around and all. When all these bulbs out, we're gonna do. And that's one playground within the Laventille district.
We definitely want to address that. Go ahead, Ron. We're listening to you.
So when you go to the corporation, I went to Port of Spain, who's supposed to be the caretaker of the ground. They say it's not them go to Sour Laventille. When I went to Sour Laventille, they sent me back to Port of Spain and tell me the boundaries changed. So go back to Port of Spain.
So the boundary change and the other team don't know that the boundary change and it's their responsibility, right?
So it's just up, down. Then when I realize I have little authority to go to certain people, no. Well, you have to get the councillor to write a letter to state that these lights out.
So the whole delaying strategy they use.
How are you going to appear them councillor to tell her, well, we need the lights up and them sometimes them is I want to hear why others.
Yeah, all right. That's right.
Well, we expect them to try to derail and undermine us in what we're trying to accomplish in the country, you know. So I mean, our people on our side should know that, and like I said, we dealing with it, right? We dealing with
I
it.
again, if the communication is right, because they're not playing with Khadija, because Khadija will get you out the job. Because remember, she just be on the job. So the really trying to sabotage and think it very the chances are very few because of how she on the job. You know? So it's really to get the communication level where she would be in place to make sure that these things happen. Because I saw it for the carnival. Once she there, down to the engineer for Port of Spain was out there at 2 a.m.
So let's put everything together in some kind of documentation and send it to her. All right?
That's what we need to do. Get it to her and see how best we can get her
Yeah,
out there.
but Ken will be there, Suman will be there, and they'll help you organize everything, and we'll identify the issues and we'll make the recommendation.
Certainly, definitely.
Suman already in Trinidad, Ken will be there shortly.
Okay, yeah.
And in the meantime, Rodney, just document, videotape, right? So because that is good footage that we could work with also.
Yeah.
And try to pull some volunteers and tell them, well, I could always talk with you guys. You know that little place where you had the campaign thing there. Get everybody together. We could talk with them and we'll tell them what we're trying to do and let them know we're on it and we need some help from them.
Okay, yeah. That's no problem. I'll be on it. And as I say in the morning, I'll show you the volume of rubbish that we have to deal with coming down in the drain because it's only the bins will be empty. So all the rubbish will be there for the dogs to pull out because the bin's empty. They just go and pull out one on the ground and just pull it out and leave it in the drain. Where they want, they just leave it in the drain and it rain comes and wash it downhill.
And let them know Auntie Kamla didn't neglect them. She's trying to put things together. All right? Let them know Auntie Kamla ain't forget them. She putting things together. You see, she working hard.
I try and but it's plenty because the saying in tongue is that they forget them. That's the saying. To be honestly, that's the saying in tongue. We being forgotten. It's very, very tough. But again, you see, they ain't understand the economy really in problem. But it's still, it's real problem in these areas. Really. And job problem is a major issue because if you send home 5,000 people within the CPEP program, 3,000 was in Port of Spain. Because we had the most gangs and all of these things. And that is a program that worked. That worked for plenty things in Port of Spain. It worked so much that the corporation workers used to hide behind them. It's because corporation workers going into certain areas now and people asking, but wait, all you always had this? So that's to show how the CPEP worked. But a lot of people was hiding behind it. So we had to put it in a way. Well, I feel they come up with a proper solution, but I believe the funds is really the issue at this point.
Correct.
I feel the funds is an issue at this point, but I feel she did come up with a proper solution. Even during the carnival period, she put out people onto the road and those things to start the cleanup process, and it worked for her. So I don't feel is really the way about to get it done. I feel is the funds is really holding up the whole issue.
Well, we know that'll be part of the issue, but what I'm saying is we want to make sure the how we detail everything, right? And we want to make sure there's a strong recommendation. We want to make sure there's the right recommendation
Yeah.
you know, that will not a short-term fix like you put a band-aid. The kind of design that Ken is coming with is long-term thing that we're thinking about and want to put better infrastructure in place. And so it will take us some time, it will take some money, but we want to deal, you know, like there's some immediate things, like how with these guys that say the low-hanging fruit. We want to deal with that first, and then we will work on the expansion as funds are available. But we want to make sure the recommendation is there and how we fix this, how we go forward with it, and we want to get everybody on board. You know, both
Yeah.
volunteers and those in the government. Look, I volunteering all the way from America, right? And I remain fully engaged and always available to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So so let's get organized. You know, tomorrow, and then I would like to have a little chat with your team down there, and you know, when Ken get there, we'll organize all of that.
All right.
Definitely.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
You guys want to add anything other than Suman? Ken, you want to say anything else?
No.
No, I think we covered it all
base.
there.
All right.
We covered all the
Right.
bases.
So it's time for action.
Rodney,
Right.
look forward to seeing you.
Right. Well, you know, Rod, you know, I will bring the best people for you,
Yeah.
right? And let Love Until West know that they made a big mistake by not voting everybody for you because things would have been more in action. But listen to me, you're not out of the game. You're not out of the game. You're still engaged. All right.
All right.
So you got backup. You got backup from international. So you know we going forward. All right.
All right. Problem.
And I get you know one of the best engineers here to come and meet with you. And,
All
and
right.
Suman, when you meet Suman, you'll get to know more about how qualified he is. All right. So he's already on the ground there, and we got more people coming. So we'll talk. And then well, Dr. Stephen Rambo, former CEO of ODPM, is outside the country right now, but you'll get to meet him too.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. And he was a very good guy over with the ODPM. He's highly skilled in getting certain things done. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking a ride. I'll talk to you in the morning when you get yourself together.
Okay, I'll call you early in the
All right.
morning, then I will get to the venue.
Yeah, when you're out there in the field, let me know.
All right, no problem.
All right.
All right, guys. So, good night, everybody.
Can,
All right, guys. Good night.
Gary, and just stick around a while.
Yeah. Stick around and see what you have to say now.
Let's have you planned out your schedulers yet? Or you?
Yes,
still
Suman, remember,
deciding.
also don't forget some recommendation you wanted to make. I don't know if you want to continue the recommendation about it with the laptops and in Ministry of Education and things like that. If you
Yeah,
want to do that. But wrap up with Ken first. Give me a couple
Right.
minutes. I'll come back with you guys. You guys talk.
yeah. You can.
Yes, sir,
When-
man. Good.
When are you thinking of planning to meet with the people of Bamboo? With your group, the Ramnath and them and Marissa and so.
Well,
Yeah,
they
time-
scheduling a meeting with some of the residents in Valsay North,
That's enough.
and yeah, that will be this Saturday.
Saturday.
So yeah, but we have another meeting, which is the big meeting with the Bamboos, all the 1, 2, 3, Valsay
Right.
South, and everybody else. Plus, I'll have some members from the different regional corporations
Right.
who will be attending the meeting
That will be in the daytime.
in the daytime.
And,
Correct.
Community center or something like that. Or
Yeah,
some-
yeah. What you will do, you come by me and Park, and both of us will drive up there,
No problem. Yeah, no problem.
right?
So
And
you give me a little heads up on the days now, so I wouldn't schedule nothing
certainly,
for
certainly.
myself when that comes out. I don't know if I may quickly have to make a trip back to Miami following week, so I'll have to work around these things first.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah. So.
You know, your health is always comes first. you know?
Yeah. I didn't get the report. The doctor told me this week I should get the report.
I think Suman dropped out there by mistake. Let me see. Let me see what
Yeah, he came back.
So that's one thing. So most likely our big meeting would be
Sure.
closer to the end of next week.
So we're not hearing you.
Yeah. So, man, Gary said he's not hearing you.
Okay, well, you hearing me, Ken?
I hear you.
Okay, well,
But
Gary,
Gary
nothing
said-
has changed. What I'm saying, Ken, is that after your preliminary meeting with your Marissa, and then when you're having a big meeting, will be later on next week.
That will be the next week, where we will meet with the community and so forth.
Now,
right?
remember that week is a Friday, is a holiday because of Eid. The
Okay.
20th is a holiday. So we have to keep that in mind. So we don't, kind of schedule things. Unless they were willing to come out. But
Yeah, well, I
to
think
me,
after Eid, if Eid is when? Sunday? When is Eid?
Friday,
Saturday?
Friday the 20th.
We could, I mean, Sunday would be a nice day. Everybody's home. They could come out.
Yeah, or Saturday or whatever
Saturday
day.
also.
Yeah.
Because I want to, also include a site visit to the structures,
Mhm.
right? You see, Sumad, we could be talking about solutions, but when
And
you
if
actually see something that's
that's it.
built in place and is functioning,
That's
right?
that's
That
good.
is much more effective,
Mhm.
And now you could say, hey, this is something that we could use here because we had the same problem,
Right.
right?
So
We have a problem, and now we have identified a solution. We have actually seen one.
nice. So we could probably have some visit to South or Push the following week, closer to the
Correct.
following week. Yeah.
Correct.
Also, if you speak to your guy, find out if he can still get onto Moody, because Moody, as I say, is one of the foremost man with hydrological experience for this area. This area meaning South Orpooch, Lagoon Basin.
Well, we
So
definitely try to
yeah,
the
if
guy said he has his contact. We'll try to reach out and
contact,
see if we
yeah,
can contact him.
or if
Because we
he's
don't want to
willing,
reinvent the wheel when we come down there.
that's right. We want to move at the clip. So we have our
Yeah.
objective in mind. Hey, when we make that tour, the trip, we sit down after, and then we draw up a nice plan on how we're going to attack this, what needs to be done first. The overall macro plan will be there, but within that you have micro plans which can alleviate the quick, lower hanging fruits and with the least amount of investments and so on to solve.
Absolutely correct, Samad.
Yeah, so this kind of way, so that's what I wanted to say on this. With respect to the laptop project, Gary, I think I'll have to deal that another day going forward because it includes a lot of training for the teaching staff because students were given new laptops, and these laptops have an AI component, and that AI component, I don't think the teachers are apprised of this. So both teachers and students is a learning curve for them. So this is something totally new. There was no training done for teachers, and there was something called a sensitization that was done, but a sensitization meaning, anytime they can hurry, could go to a sensitization, but the actual people who will be responsible for monitoring the AI teaching for the 4 months and so on, they have had no formal training. So it's a situation which can come up because from the last incarnation, when they give laptops, we had to train 4,000 teachers and a lot of school principals and so on during the school vacation period. And I don't know if you know teachers plan their trips with their children and their spouses and so on during the July, August holidays. So how are you going to catch these people to train them when they come telling you that, hey, you know what, is April, I've already planned where we're going. I take my kids Disney World in July, August. I wouldn't be around you. These kind of issues, you have to do these things upfront and inform or alert your senior teachers that, hey, you guys need to do some training at 3 weeks or 4 weeks training. And then there is a problem of compensation. Should teachers come? If I'm a teacher and I already plan my schedule, my tickets and so on, you pay down on your stuff, I ain't going to break that to go for no training. Unless now
Yeah, definitely.
there's additional payment or remuneration for me. See, so these are the things you have to think forward, because these are the lessons learned from the laptop project. And this is what I wanted to tell the ministry, that, hey, going forward, because it's AI, you're introducing AI, which is a transformative technology. You have to let teachers be aware how to teach this thing, right? And the teachers, if they have had no training, then what are you going to do?
There's a disconnect there.
Total disconnect. So then the students are shortchanged. The ministry is shortchanged, because they're spending pretty close to $7,500 for a computer. That's not cheap. $7,500 for a laptop. And here is it. The teachers are not trained, so the students don't get the bang for the buck, so to speak. That exposure, that wide exposure to training and how to really use the system, use the software and so on, because teachers have not been trained in this. As I said, they did an awareness program from what I know, but that doesn't cut it. An awareness really tells you about this, but it doesn't tell you how to teach the subject,
Definitely.
Yeah, so,
Well, Sumar, Lavi, there's a lot there to talk about.
yeah, Gary wanted me to speak about it, but I will
Okay.
have to hold that back.
In the next live, yeah.
Touch on it, but you do
In
some
detail.
elaboration on that,
Yeah.
Yeah, sometime
All right.
when we discuss in education stuff.
Yeah,
we could
yeah.
do that.
We'll tie in that with the whole subject of education also.
Right.
Definitely. But anyhow, have a good night, guys. Sumar,
Yes.
I want to thank everyone for joining us. Nadira, Keith, I see somebody named Smoots. So thank our listeners out there for joining us, and we intend to address the issues full throttle ahead. This team will be dealing with it. I already have Mr. Suman Singh on the ground there. Mr. Ken Doucher will be there soon, and we will be addressing the flooding issues, disaster issues, looking at getting a team trained in each community for a medical emergency response volunteer team until the government gets further with those who are professionally trained. But we want to get something within the base of the community. Somebody gets shot, somebody gets in an accident, somebody has a natural emergency that we can assist, and we don't lose the lives. I see this as a matter of life and death, and this is why I want to address it. So thank you everyone for joining us.
have a good night. Take care.
Good night,
Take care, guys. Good night. Have a good
Have a
one.
good night. Take care, Sumar. Talk soon.
Right. Yeah.
Bye.